Thank you, Duhita, and welcome everybody once again to this session. And I hope you've enjoyed taking the survey that we did about materials. Yes, we thought of doing something different today. So I hope you did enjoy that. So let's talk about digital pedagogy. It's a very simple word. If you look at the word pedagogy, it simply refers to styles, methods, approaches of teaching, and it's the dynamic relationship between the learning, teaching, and culture, as you all know, right? Pedagogy is basically a technology of instruction, and that determines how schooling inputs are used in practice to impact the learning outcomes. So the word pedagogy actually originated from the Greek word pedagogos. Pedos means child, egogos, which I don't know whether I'm pronouncing it right. Well, Greek pronunciation, not me at least, it means leader, which means the new normal of the global pandemic has made a shift to this digital pedagogy. And I think a smooth transition of school culture is not only just evident in the style, the way we teach these days, but also the content, the way teachers are presenting, also the feedback and assessment. So, digital pedagogy has taken the center stage and it can be applied in any format online, hybrid, face to face learning. Digital basically means bringing the technology and pedagogy together, but prioritizing pedagogy on technology. So, it is both a science and an art and a craft in today's education. And as rightly said, the domain of pedagogy is inside the human mind. And the right type of pedagogy, I think teachers can induce that love of learning using the right pedagogy. So if I were to, define digital pedagogy, I would simply just say, start by saying that it is and, will remain one of the number one of the key, projections while we teach and learn, and also that I think digital pedagogy requires a good knowledge of technological possibilities. Now that's a big word. Yes, it's not a big word actually. It's a wider term. So these technical possibilities, when they are translated into concrete educational situations, that's the experience that we create is pure digital pedagogy. Yeah. And, we are able to offer authentic value and can add to these new pedagogies a new meaning and work in a very meaningful way. And digital pedagogy is not something that has come in today. It has evolved over the years. And the fundamental essence of digital pedagogy evolution lies in continuously reshaping teaching and learning through strategic digital technology transformation. These integration projects must be taken up very mindfully, looking at the teaching practices, learning principles, and the pedagogy. And when we put all the three together, it becomes digital pedagogy. Imagine a classroom where the students are using interactive simulations, yeah, to understand any, let's say, complex scientific concept, and they collaborate on projects using online platforms, or they receive immediate feedback on the progress that they have made through possibly these adaptive learning systems or learning management systems. All of these of what I have said is already happening in bits and pieces. And this is the reality being shaped by the ongoing digital pedagogy evolution. Looking at this evolution, we can, if we look back, it has four major components. It encompasses technology integration. That's the most visible aspect. And, it involves use of digital tools and platforms in teaching and learning. It's about selecting the right tool, applying appropriate pedagogy, and purposely enhancing pedagogical goals. So I just put in the sentences pedagogy twice. Why? Because you start with the pedagogy, then go find the piece for technology to actually help you drive the use of that technological piece with a purpose to meet the pedagogical goal. Yeah. Number two, pedagogical innovation, the heart of evolution. Literally, this is the heart, and it's about rethinking teaching strategies and methodologies. We have batches of students that we deal with year after year, and after a few years we all just pause to have this exchange of conversation where we say, you know what, I think the way students are learning is slightly different these days. Is students know it all, or they like to know it all, or they already are a little bit informed about, if not too informed about the concepts, or they love to make connections very quickly. So we as teachers are rethinking teaching strategies and methodologies, and we take advantage of these affordances of digital technology. So this actually, involves moving beyond simply digitizing your traditional methods of, using just a PowerPoint for learning, or just a Word document for documenting something. It actually means inventing new approaches. What should be on our mind? Accessibility and inclusivity are two pieces. I think digital world holds a lot of potential to make education more accessible to a wider range of learners who doesn't have, a device or a smart piece these days. Most of the world, I mean, that we all have said this multiple times, that belong you, if you, regardless of what location, background, or learning differences you belong to, COVID made it possible for us to use these digital tools, so they made them more accessible. Now it is for us as teachers to leverage the assistive technologies to personalize learning and to be able to contribute to a more inclusive educational experience. And I think each one of us, and I'm very confident on that, each one of us work, deeply on that piece. Of course. There's no end to it. Evolution in itself is a word, which we keeps, which means continuous. It has to change. It has to evolve. So digital pedagogy is not a static concept, and but an ongoing one. And the process of adaptation and refinement is never ending. And as technology advances, our understanding of how to use these digital learning tools more effectively deepens. Our pedagogical practices are refined and must evolve in tandem. And I think they do as well. So, the major characteristics of digital pedagogy, these are the 8 major characteristics of digital pedagogy. Number one, it has to be a learner centered approach. Focus on learning needs, styles, and goals first. Encourage self paced learning, active participation, and interactivity. Two, technological integration. We have to use these tools very meaningfully. We must know the purpose. We must know the mode in which we are doing, whether it is blended, hybrid, or fully online environments, as the case may be. Data informed instructions, very important. These days we can track progress, and we don't have to do much. Our systems are already learning from us, so we need to leverage these analytics. We are looking at identifying gaps to personalize learning, allow real time feedback, and adaptive learning pathways to happen. As far as interactivity and engagement is concerned, I think these are two pieces which everyone whom I have interacted with till date, when I say, if you want to use it for the purpose, what is your purpose? The first purpose that comes out is interactivity and engagement. Everybody wants to increase. So we need to promote active learning habits like simulations, or, gamification, and collaborative tools. And why I'm calling this a habit and not practices is because practices are already there. We need to form a habit of using these and bringing them to our classrooms and offering in our classrooms, which means using AI to create immersive, responsive learning experiences so that it becomes more engaging, more interactive, and I think more closer to me. Yeah. The next element being flexibility and accessibility. Learning is really not bound these days by time, location, or even a platform for that matter. We have to support inclusive education through assistive technologies and multilingual content. Definitely keep NEP 2020 goals on mind, and you can actually address those. So why not? 6.1, continuous assessment and feedback. I think not just NEP 2020 goals are being aligned using these digital pedagogies, but also, formative and summative assessment via these digital platforms, which are AI powered, provide us instant feedback and insights for improvement. And that's the room that we are looking for. So we don't really have to wait for the end of the term or end of the chapter or end of the semester or year. It's an ongoing process, an instant, feedback or instant sites or insights and more that you can use to be able to adjust to learning needs of the students. Something very close to my heart, ethical and responsible use of technology. I think I cannot emphasize enough, but uh, you know, since and I'm going to repeat myself at the cost of repeating myself, I'll say every educator today is a digital educator. Since you are a digital educator, digital citizenship, data privacy, responsible use of AI are our charters. We cannot just leave it to the computer science or ICT teachers or IT teams to actually, or admin teams to actually keep looking at this. They're there to monitor. But it's we who need to encourage critical thinking about the use of technology in our lives. And of course, professional development and innovation remain the key. It is important to continuously upskill in digital tools and pedagogical strategies together and foster a culture of experimentation in your school. Make space for innovation, make space for trying new things and molding and coming up with new practices. And I'm sure you do in your school. But what we look at is when we have people in our forums, we would want to provide, this room has space for more than 10,000 people. And please, please spread this love and encourage people to continuously upskill themselves. Ask them to join forums like these ones and more to be able to learn so that there are various modes of learning. But my eye is always on the purpose. So we're not going to use AI tools just because, it's to mirror or to be a multiplier in the kind of tools that I use or add to the variety or the buffet of tools that I use. We have to look at the purpose. Are we really using AI to replace the human connection or deepen it? Is the bigger question. Are we trying to automate learning or personalize it? Are we trying to standardize outcomes or are we trying to unlock individual potential? At its best, AI can only help us identify learning gaps. It is for us to intervene with care, and that's where the human touch comes in. We have to offer students multiple pathways to demonstrate understanding, free up teachers' time so that they can focus on what matters most, and that is building your relationship with the students so that they are able to share with you the gaps to say, I have to pause here because I just did not understand this, and they have the freedom and you have the time to address that. You have a tool or a partner, a thinking partner or a learning partner who can be brought in to be able to make that possible. Creativity should be at the helm of all of this, and so should mentorship be or coaching be a part of it. So, we're not here to replace the educators, but to amplify the impact that you can create. Make a fairer, deeper, and more human approach to education and augment humanity rather than replacing anyone here. Well, to that breath, you want to always know what are the tools, what should I use, what's the variety that I can use. Well, here's a variety, and those are the purposes for which they can use. But once again, pause to think what's your need, what's your requirement, what are you looking for, and then decide. If I try and take a pragmatic approach, I would say, for story and poems, give me some tools. So if I would just go to Copilot and, probably ask Copilot to draft a poem for me or a story for me, or I'll go to Suno AI and say, hey, make a song for me. If I need visualization of the concept, I'll go to Microsoft Designer, Adobe Express, multiple tools, Halio, multiple tools. If I need an infographic, I'll go to Napkin AI. If reading comprehension is what my need is, I'll go to Reading Progress and Reading Coach. If I need animation and video on concept, then I would go to Hallyu AI. And if I need to check for understanding, I would go to Simply Forms or Quizzes. But yes, guess what? This is not my purpose. This is again a random act. This is again a throw of tools, and we at Pedagogics have been at the forefront of, bringing this to light. That please make a conscious call, and we are in the early days of AI in education, and this is the call that we need to take. We need to pause to think about the random acts of AI adoption. We need to move towards well-meaning, enthusiastic efforts which allow us to explore tools at length like this or like this, But what we need to do is we need to pause to think if they are um, sustainable, consistent, connected. And we know that, to create a real lasting impact, we need more than isolated experiments. We need a structured approach for AI in education. Therefore, SAAIE is what we need to move towards. That's exactly what we have been building at the Pedagogics. And through our work across schools, across classrooms, we have partnered with and the communities that we work with to move from scattered adoption to a strategic integration, where AI and technology are not just tools. They become digital pedagogy and they are enablers of digital learning or deeper learning. They are enablers of inclusive practices and empowered educators. Our approach blends technology, pedagogy, and capacity building because we know that this kind of change or evolution requires careful thought and consideration. Therefore, this is a shift in strategy and a shift in mindset that we are requesting you to adopt and move from experimentation to empowerment, from randomness to purpose. And we're just getting started. Did I say a little too much? Well, don't worry. I always like to quote examples. Sorry. So let me try and quote some examples for you. Let's say my pedagogy is collaborative inquiry, and I'm looking for my students to work together on, natural and man-made material. Now you know why I asked you that question, right? We asked you that question for a purpose today because that's what our focus is today. Yeah, we've taken that as a topic. So, if I were to look at a collaborative inquiry, what I need is my students to look around at their home or in the classroom and name one object and guess if it's made out of natural or man made material. I can use n number of tools for this. I can use a Word document, I can use a OneNote, I can use whatever I want. Here, mindfully, I have chosen Wakelet. Why? Wakelet is a collection. Allow me, and my purpose is very clear. I've just outlined my purpose there. I want to activate prior knowledge and build curiosity. Curiosity cannot be built with just one off assignment or engagement. What we need is much more than that. So, a wakelet is a collection. What it does is it helps you collect and collate multiple resources over time. You would have seen these kind of engagements or sorry wakelet being shared by us. So let's say this is about Earth Day. Now I'm going to use this. I share these two tools with students and then I invite them to keep adding tools. So this is a collaborating way of looking at these tools, and then it just becomes a running record for me to keep and maintain. If you want to see more examples, just go to Explore. You will find multiple examples of how teachers and people in general have been using Wakelet, to be able to make a kind of a collection about that topic. So what it becomes is it becomes like um, a virtual board, not a classroom, board to put up, just to put up a few things, but a virtual working board wherein you can keep adding as you learn. So, it doesn't happen that when we want children to think about or do certain things, they will start thinking at that time only, right? They could be in another space and slowly they unpack and learn and relearn many things, and they learn new knowledge, they acquire new information. Now as they acquire, they must have a place where they keep parking their knowledge or parking their ideas. So, for example, you could be creating a wakelet, a new wakelet, right? So let's say here's a collection that you're going to create. I'm going to create a new collection, and I'm going to do start with a blank collection. I'm not taking there are templates available in case you want to take, and I'm going to go ahead and title this as materials. Yeah. And I'm going to say that, keep adding. I'm just going to invite students to keep adding. Over here, I'm going to go ahead and take columns. Now, you could take columns and add section either according to the LO that you are covering, or You could even add, now look, what is happening here? It's getting added like this. And I could say, man-made, oops, sorry, my spellings are going haywire, man-made, or, and I could make another section which could be natural materials. Yeah. So what I'm doing over here is making space for students to come and place it in the right column. All they have to do is simply just click plus over here, write something, add an image, probably bookmark something, upload a file if they want to, and there are multiple other options as well. Yeah, let's say they've created a collage in Adobe Express, they can always bring it here and share here. So this creates space for my students to work together with me, and I'm not just creating a collection of their learning over time, but I can also see the growth in learning by each child. Yeah. So this was one of the examples that I wanted to share with you. And I hope, there is clarity. And if you have any questions, chat window is always open. Duita is going to, take your questions anytime that they come in. And we will pause towards the other side of the session to take your questions. So this was one example. Let's take another one. Let's say you want to support reading comprehension because students have been, reading or taking class with you and they've learned over here. You always firm up their understanding using a reading piece. Now, if we were to do that, reading progress is my best bet. So what I do is I go to Copilot, generate 100-word passage, let's say, right, on from nature to factory, the journey of materials. What a beautiful topic, isn't it? So I go over there and I say the passage must include these examples and create a passage. Then I go to reading progress, put it over there, and use AI to generate comprehension, and I send it home. What was my purpose here? My purpose was I was building reading fluency, comprehension, and I was reinforcing content knowledge. I am very clear with the focus that I have. You get what I'm saying now, right? Let's do another example. Yes, I've got many examples for you today, but I'm just going to, show you a few and probably talk through the others. Kanmigo, one of the favorite ones of many teachers by now, I know. So here, my purpose is that I want to create personalized learning path based on students' curiosity and pace. Yeah. So students watch a short video on Khan Academy on materials, then they interact with Khan Academy. You have a bot over there, and you can interact with that bot to ask your questions. Now, when you are on Khanmigo, you will see many possibilities. Khanmigo is a tool which is available free of cost for teachers, but for students, it's available at cost and currently not available in our country. However, it will soon be available. So while we are doing all of this, I'm giving you snapshots of some of the things that can be done so that you're empowered to know, okay, this is how we are going to do it. All right. So like I was saying with Khanmigo, there are many possibilities and many doors have been already been opened for you. And there are some that you can always, wait and we can enjoy them later. So one of the things that you can do is, let's say, ask questions to the bot asking, so what is plastic made of? And by the way, in case you don't have Khanmigo, students can watch the Khan Academy video, then go to Copilot and have an interaction in a very safe manner, or go to Magic School AI and ask these questions. So what is plastic made of? Or is cotton natural or man-made? I'm still not clear. Can you help me understand? And the bot starts responding and you have a authentic conversation with someone. You will get information uh, at a level at which you're asking, because this is all going to be initiated by you. You would have defined the security levels, you would have defined the age level, you would have defined the learning objectives and outcomes. So it is easier for the bot to understand and answer specific question. Why I chose Khanmigo for this is because it'll never give you just direct answers. It'll give you leading questions and help you unpack that content. Yeah. Let's take another example. Okay. Now you all know, I mean, you and I know we need to always bring in some creativity into our classroom. Wakelet was a collection. Now I need to have my students to see what are the materials around me and start labeling objects. Now that's something that you do. Here's something that you could do. You could actually, include labeling of these objects. So you could probably, give them a throw of objects and ask them to create a collage, or use AI in Microsoft Designer to say, I was in a garden and I saw dash 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 that were I man-made, and dash 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 made out of natural material. So possibly, today I went to a grocery store and this is what I saw. So what I'm trying to say is you're trying to capture their surroundings using these creative tools. And this is how you can bring in creative integration, not just asking them to make a collage, but visual learning through digital creativity is my objective. Yeah, is my purpose. Similarly, let's say, they've been learning over time and I want to know where they are and what are they thinking about and what is the knowledge level. I love using forms for reflection. You may use anything for journaling or reflection. You can use OneNote, Word, forms, whatever you like. I like to use forms because it also helps me create that word cloud. Yeah. And I like to put that word cloud in my class. So asking meaningful questions or helping students respond to meaningful questions is very important. Therefore, how did I figure out whether, a material was natural or man-made? Now, this is reasoning, analytical thing, deep thinking. They need to convince me, or they need to tell me what were those, factors that led them to decide whether a particular material was natural or man-made. Great reflection. Another one could be what strategies helped me learn best today. Did I learn best through a video, through discussion, through hands-on sorting, or probably digital engagement? What was it that helped me learn? Because that will help you and the student identify their learning styles and their learning preferences, and possibly we could address those. What am I still curious about? Very important. And also, what would I like to explore more about materials next time? This is subtly conveying that you should still stay curious, and I'm sure you have more questions, so ask them now. And also, a subtle way of saying that, there are more materials that you must keep exploring. So, these four questions have been mindfully drafted and crafted to build metacognition and environmental awareness. So, what was I clear about? About my purpose. I know I'm talking a lot about purpose, but digital pedagogy is built, the foundation is built on the purpose. And then assessment and feedback. And yes, those are essential tools that we definitely need to cater to. So, a short adaptive quiz with instant feedback. Use quizzes Wayground now and the dashboard to identify misconceptions. You see, what am I doing over here? Identifying misconceptions and plan follow up. So when I go to quizzes or Wayground, as you call it now, I'm going to create a quiz. So my instruction is not going to be just create 10 MCQs on man-made and natural materials, right? My instruction is going to be make space for misconceptions and also make space for some real life scenarios where someone gets confused or someone is not sure, so that I give them more exposure, more food for thought, and deeper avenues of thinking. So my purpose is real time assessment and data informed teaching so that I know, oh, okay, till now, this is formative assessment or diagnostic assessment. Till now, this is what you've learned. This is where these are the misconceptions that still ride, and these are the areas that are still open for learning. Yeah. And of course, do build a home connect. Very important. Learning always is carried on at home as well. And, however much we might, agree or disagree, learning does happen in every realm. So, my purpose is I need family engagement and real world applications. Parents love talking about what did you do today? And beyond that, they don't know what to talk. So let's say students record with the help of their parents or in partnership with their parents or siblings or anyone. Students record a short video at home showing one object and explaining its material's origin. You remember, I not only went asking for, just about a passage, I said from nature to factory. I am bringing back that thread over here and inviting my students and parents to engage into conversation about at least one object and trace the origin to see, because many a times, most of the times, natural materials are picked up and transformed into man-made materials. I've not even touched the synthetic ones, but that's how it transforms. Okay, I'm going to take a breath because I've spoken at length, and I'm sure there's loads for you to grab and take back from here. And I'm going to hand it back to Dvita to be able to take your questions. And before that, there are plenty of options for you in Magic School AI. Magic School AI aligns directly with many of those tools that align directly with universal design for learning, the principles that we have of engagement, of representation, and of action and expression. Please do refer to these. A simple, interaction, let's say, a simple ideation between a student who becomes a natural material and an interviewer to say, let's do a podcast where you invite a natural material as your special guest and you can ask the questions, or a man-made material, that if you are man-made, is there a natural person material behind you? Okay, what were the processes? So, provide different avenues. Fostering agency and ownership is the key over here. We are driving digital pedagogies. So then students choose how they want to express their learning, and we are able to foster their agency and ownership in this. With that, I'm going to hand it back to Dvita. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great rest of the session. And do take a test. Don't forget to take that test. Thank you.